Alexandria Taylor. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I'm not going to take 9 minutes. I am a lifelong Romulus resident. I'm also the chair of the Charter Commission out here. I have served as an attorney for the last several years. I own my own law firm, Taylor Law Firm, which is downtown Detroit. My practice is built on fighting, specifically fighting for constitutional rights. One of the things that pushed me to run as a mother of 3 children, a married mother, was our educational system. And as you heard Councilwoman Williams say, our educational system is really suffering right now. And from the perspective of our children, but also from the perspective of our educators are feeling disrespected. They feel like no one hears their concerns, and for me, that is a big issue. I am a product of Romulus schools. I went to Barth Elementary, to the middle school, and I graduated 20 years ago from the high school. I have a problem that Michigan is one of 7 states that allocates 5 times more to corrections than to public schools. And in my practice, primarily doing criminal law, I see the other side of that. So a broken educational system leads to higher rates of crime. I have met defendants who, although they were on trial for drugs, in reality they are a chemist, like they are scientists, and the only difference between them and myself is their zip code. And for me, that is simply unacceptable. What I see as far as our political landscape is you have politicians who are bought and paid for before they even step foot in office. And really, it's unacceptable. They don't represent the people. You run their campaign finance statements, and that'll show you who they represent. I am not paid for by anyone. I am here to represent the community. And just like I have been fighting in the courtroom for constitutional rights, I will fight in Lansing for our community. So I am asking for your vote and for you to stand up with me.
Hello everyone, I am Alex Garza. I'm the City Council President, or Chairman for the City of Taylor, Michigan, right your neighbor just to the east of us here. And I just want to say hello to everyone and thank you for coming out tonight for this important candidates forum. I also want to thank my opponent for coming out today too. I know that it's definitely hard for all of us to come out, but I just want to say thank you. And this race is really a very important one this year. I know we hear a lot of times every year with the cliche, this race is going to be the race of the century or whatever else, but ultimately we're really fighting for the Michigan that we all want to see for our children and our families, right? This is something that we want to do because we want to see better education system in the state of Michigan. We want to have a better system for all of our families to have a better time in Taylor, Romulus, Van Buren Township. So it's really important that we all come out for this election in August. But let me back up a little bit to kind of my background and a little bit about me, since I have 9 minutes to fill. But in 2013, I ran for City Council for the first time in Taylor. That was actually one of the toughest decisions I've ever made in my life. I was 19 years old. I ran for City Council in a race that actually had 27 candidates running for 7 seats. It was definitely something that folks in Taylor thought I could never do. People were just like, there's no way he's going to run for City Council and make it in Taylor. Again, being 19, an undergrad student, and wanting to make a difference in Taylor at the time. There was a lot of things going on in Taylor that actually made me run for office. One of the things was the political landscape in Taylor was really not favoring the people at that time. It was something that I saw people that were there for many years, and they frankly lost touch with the residents that were in Taylor. And I stepped up and ran for City Council and was elected in 3rd place actually out of 27 people on election day, becoming the first minority and youngest elected official in Taylor's history. And that's something that I'm very proud of. I'm very fortunate to the residents in Taylor who elected me to be able to serve them on the City Council. Over those 4 years, so just 2017 I was reelected to the council, and now I serve as the chairman of the City Council. Over those 4 years, we've done a lot of work. There's been a lot of work done with our budget. We've had a $5 million deficit when I first got into office. We now have a $6 million surplus in the city of Taylor this year. And it's not anything that came easy for us. It's something that a lot of cities are facing here in Michigan. A lot of cities are being underfunded by the state of Michigan. their state revenue sharing and their constitutional revenue sharing is being slashed all the time from Lansing, and our cities are struggling more and more every day. So I just want to make sure that when we talk about the issues that matter here, they're all local. I mean, all politics are local. I think everyone knows that. And it's really important that the state of Michigan hears exactly what we're doing here in the communities and what we need from the state of Michigan. You know, it's about the 12th district, it's about Romulus, it's about Taylor, it's about Van Buren Township, and we're looking to continue that. I know that there's a lot of issues. There's environmental issues specifically facing Romulus, with the deep water injection well issues that Romulus has faced for many, many years. That's been something that you've all, in Taylor and Romulus, we've fought together on that issue for many years. Representative Geiss, I know that he's fought in those issues. Representative Erica Geiss has also helped on that as well. So, and like I said, the last meeting that was at the Romulus, the RAC, I was there, and I testified on behalf of not expanding that well. But there's a lot of environmental issues, there's a lot of educational issues, and there's many issues that face the 12th district, and I look forward to taking my track record from Taylor and serving the 12th district in Lansing and making sure we get things done for our residents. So thank you so much.
Good evening, my name is Robert Kosowski. I am the state rep from Wayne and Westland. I really appreciate being here tonight. But when I want to start off, before a little stump speech, I just want to talk about the candidates that are up here. We're actually very lucky because everybody up here is a very good candidate. And I want to put that out there. I served with Doug before I served with Erica now. I just want to say that because we all go there to Lansing to fight for everybody that lives in our districts. We really do. It's what we do for a living. If you actually look at our voting record, you probably won't see much of a difference. I mean, a few things here and there. But for the most part, we go there to fight for the democratic process. And we work for our schools, we work for our cities. Alex just brought up one of the things that really, really is terrible with the state. Over $7 billion has been taken, billion, not million, $1 billion has been taken from state shared revenue. So there's a common denominator that Governor Snyder brought up, and it's taking money away from our locals, which affects our services. It straps our mayors and council people that they can't do much. And it's one of the things that I know coming this year when we get a different governor and we split the House, because I guarantee that's going to happen, and I guarantee we're going to get a lot closer in the Senate, we're going to be able to make some great strides. Just want to talk about a couple committees I'm on because I really fought to be on these. I'm a big education person. So I'm the ranking Democrat on school aid. And when I went there, I wanted to do this because I've seen things that have happened around our district. I work with Doug Geiss on this about Inkster schools. I don't want that to ever happen to another school district around. That is the worst thing. You took their identity away. They took the image away from these kids. They had to go to all these surrounding schools. That's not right. The funding mechanism this year, though, is going to be pretty good. I guess since Governor Snyder is leaving, he wanted to put a mark on it. So the foundation allowance is actually going to be $240, $120 to $240 per child. That's pretty good. Because every committee meeting, I tell people, why is a kid in West Bloomfield getting $9,000 or $8,700 and we're getting $7,600? My kid is just as special as your kid. And that's one of the things that we always fought on. Other about me personally, I have two adopted kids, 16 and 12. That's actually the reason I went to Lansing, is because it took me forever to adopt a child. My wife was working as an administrator in a hospital. I worked for the city of Westland. And the red tape was ridiculous. There's 13,000 kids right now in foster care. And we are making it so hard for people, good people like you and everybody here, to go and adopt these kids. People are looking to go overseas because they can't even get a child here. Those are some of the things I really work on. Last thing I want to talk about, we're probably going to get on Q&A, but this thing riles me up. It's the roads right now. I firsthand have had 5 blown out tires and 3 rims. I'm glad I bought the tire protection on my lease because it would have been like $4 grand. But seriously, have you ever seen, this is Armageddon right now with these roads. And we just infused $175 million. We just did a budget transfer from the general fund to put in. Well, that's great, but it cost $1 million for a mile of road. So how much are we really going to get done? It's a Band-Aid. And the other thing I want to say about that is we have $1 billion or close to it in the general fund. We should not be taxing hardworking individuals like this to keep it in a rainy day fund. The rainy day fund may be a couple $100 million. This should not be a billion. We're taking your hard-earned money and we're sitting on it and we're using this for things that are being done and not our districts, which is repulsive. And I'm sure I'll wait for Q&A. I really appreciate you letting me be here. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. I am State Representative Erica Geiss, serving the 12th House District to Olive Taylor, Olive Romulus, and a portion of Van Buren Township, and I am running for State Senate for Senate District 6, which is Olive Taylor, Olive Romulus, Olive Van Buren, Belleville, Brownstown, Huron Township, Sumter, Westland, Flat Rock, and part of Rockwood. And I'm in my second term in the House. I serve on Commerce and Trade. I serve on Workforce and Talent Development, and I'm the ranking Dem on the Michigan Competitiveness Committee. And throughout my entire service, I have made it my goal to serve the people of our communities and the people of our state. And for me, this job is about ensuring economic justice for all of our residents. So ensuring that we have pay equity, ensuring that we are keeping our unions strong so that you have collective bargaining power, and ensuring that all of those tiny issues that seem like they're in separate silos, that we're looking at them as being interconnected. So and that includes addressing revenue sharing for our local governments. I have fought for our districts, even at personal peril, in Lansing, to listen to the people and the communities that I serve. And in the Senate, I will continue with that mindset and with those values. I believe that our work in the government is to continually serve the people in our state and to be doing things that are going to uplift our communities and uplift individuals. So from healthcare and access to healthcare, regardless of age, regardless of marital status, regardless of what your family looks like, what its composition is, ensuring that every single child has access to education and that we are putting in dollars that not only get those into our classrooms and our communities, but that we're respecting teachers as the professionals that they are. And I say that from personal understanding because I am a teacher. I teach our kids. I taught at Wayne County Community College District. I am a union member. And I know what our kids can do when they've got the tools that they need and when they have that access to those materials so that they can go forth when they become adults and become productive members of our communities, because eventually one day they'll be taking care of all of us as we move into our senior years. Ensuring that our seniors have access to the information and the health care that they need. I know one of the things when it comes to this job, it's not just about pushing red and green buttons in Lansing and voting yes or no in committee on bills. It's also about serving our constituents. And I take a very team-centered approach when it comes to that. So when my office is addressing issues with constituents, real issues that are right now, that are very personal, and the politics is not just local, it's also personal. It's very personal. It's about the things that that affect you daily, that affect us daily. And I don't take those lightly. And I believe that when we are remembering that as legislators and as people who are in governmental roles, that then we'll do better by the people of our states. You know, I think about what if it was my mom? What if it was my child? I want those things for your kids, for your moms, for your grandmas, and so forth. So I look forward to the open Q&A section where it can be more specific. And thank you all for being here, and I'm glad to be here with all of you.
All right, we're going to have a little bit of time for some Q&A. For those of you who don't know me, my name is David Hotz, the new Romulus treasurer. Happened pretty fast, yes. I have a couple of design questions I'm probably going to throw towards them before we get started with some audience questions. I had the pleasure of going through our state Senate candidates' voting records, and there's not much of a difference. But I was trying to find some contrast. So, first thing I'm going to do is get to the one that just happened recently. For both our state Senate candidates, February 22nd, the House voted to make English an official language of the state of Michigan. Bob, you did vote yes on this, and respectfully, Erica voted no. I would like to know why you both voted the way you did, and is this a waste of our taxpayer dollars?
Thank you. Yeah, that bill was a waste of time. I think it's pretty obvious that the de facto language in the state of Michigan is English. We did not need to be putting into statute language that states that, when we needed to be looking at addressing roads and infrastructure, when there are multiple other bills, including education bills, including economic-related bills, including healthcare bills, that are sitting there languishing in committee. And yeah, what comes to the floor in pretty quick and hasty fashion is a bill about making English the official language of the state, which on its face seems obvious, but at the same time it really had some xenophobic impetus behind it. There are many people in our state who speak more than one language, myself included. We have a community of immigrants. We have a community where these multiple languages enrichen our state and enrichen our communities. People who come here from another country, they learn English. They try to understand the language. You have to do business in English. When you go to court, it's in English. You need an interpreter. There's an interpreter made available for you. All of our documents are in English, except for the ones that are in Latin, like on our state seal. There isn't one in here, otherwise I would have pointed to it. So it was dumb. And the legislature should not be wasting time on such trivial matters.
So I did vote yes on it, and I agree it was trivial, but when they put a vote in front of us, it's my job, it's my duty to vote on it. The reason I voted for it, though, was my father came from Poland when he was 8 years old, and throughout my whole life, I grew up in Detroit, he taught me how to really be a good citizen. And I know people are thinking, well, we didn't really need this, but 32 other states have done this, and it was a simple vote just to make English, Michigan's language. And I stand by it. We've had many veterans call our office. I've met with many of them, and quite honestly, they have thanked me for making that vote. Thank you.
All right, next question, I'll get everyone involved, because I don't want to leave you two out either. In today's political system, candidates are flooded by donations from corporate lobbyists and special interests. Can I first get a simple yes or no answer from each candidate on if they accept these kind of funding from corporations and special interests? I'll start with Alexandria.
Unequivocally, no, I do not accept those type of donations, nor have I ever.
Absolutely not. I've never received any corporate donations and never will.
Yes, I have taken corporate donations. If it's an interest that I believe in, I do take those.
I've taken donations from lobby groups, but we are not allowed to take corporate money. It is prohibited based from campaign finance law. And also when they're an interest that I'm aligned with.
I'm pretty sure every Democrat in this room is going to say the same answer when it comes to education, that they support protecting public education. The question I have for our two Senate candidates here are, what is your differences between each other on how you protect that public education? Yeah, sure.
So there's really no difference between our answers, I don't think.